Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 currently active modern science fiction authors. And what I mean by currently active is that these writers had to have released a book in the last 2 or 3 years, and there is a reasonable expectation that they are writing and will be releasing a new book fairly soon. So these are authors that when they release a new book, I'm going to be pre-ordering them. I'm going to be moving these books to the front of my TBR pile and reading them as soon as I can. This is the top 5. So with that said, let's get into it. Starting at number 5, we have Ray Nayler. Ray recently came into the novel publishing space in 2022 with his debut novel, The Mountain in the Sea. And then he followed this novel up with a novella released last year called The Tusks of Extinction. And in April this year, he released Where the Axe is Buried. So far all of his books that he's published have themes of artificial intelligence, ethics dealing with human government and animal ethics, and kind of near future, really interesting intellectual concepts. He is becoming an author that's, when you read his books, they're going to be discussing a very thought-provoking theme, and his stories are going to be very compelling. I've read and enjoyed all 3 of his books so far released. The Mountain in the Sea is a story that deals with a hyper-intelligent octopus that is discovered, and it has kind of some corporate espionage and things that lead to extra human intelligence and AI and kind of near future, a little bit of a near future look on the climate and kind of things like that. But his real standout to me so far has been The Tusks of Extinction. And this one came out last year. I read it as soon as I could. It deals with a group of scientists that have brought back the mammoth. And to do this, they also had to put a human mind into the body of a mammoth. So it has that really fascinating kind of concept to it. But then on top of that, it has this kind of ethical dilemma, kind of takes on the subject of elephant poaching and mammoth poaching in this. So it talks a lot about modern day elephants. And it's just a very compelling story. It's a short read. If you haven't read it yet, this is one of my favorite stories that I read last year. If you haven't read it yet, I would very much recommend checking that out. And then, of course, this year, his kind of near future political thriller, Where the Axe is Buried, has these AI prime ministers. It has authoritarian government that is ruled by this person who has figured out how to upload his mind into different bodies. So he's essentially immortal, and there's a revolutionary aspect to it. It was also a really compelling novel that I would recommend anyone to pick up. So Ray Nayler got his start publishing short stories, and he's only recently begun publishing novels. So if you've read his short stories, you'll likely be familiar with him. Seems like every month he has a new story out in one of the science fiction magazines. He has written many, many, many stories. I've read a few of them, and I've always enjoyed him. So he has this established track record of with his short stories, and now his last 3 book releases, and he has definitely become a trusted author for me. So with Nayler, at the very least, you're going to get a very intellectually and well-written story, and that's why he makes number 5 on my list. At number 4, we have Martha Wells. Of course, we all know Martha Wells from her famous Murderbot series. I love Murderbot, and every story that gets released moves up to the front of my TBR, so I am eagerly waiting the next one. For those of you who have not started it, the series starts with the novella All Systems Red and goes all the way to the most recent novel, which is System Collapse, and it's book 7 in the series. If you haven't started Murderbot, what are you waiting for? It's a fun and lighthearted series about a socially awkward murder bot that hacks his own governing model and begins to think for himself. And the story takes off from there. There's a lot of comedy, there's a lot of action, there's this really compelling character of Murderbot himself, and all the side characters are really fun too. And there's also a show now on Apple Plus that's based on the books, and I have been enjoying that as well. So if you haven't read this series, go to the nearest bookstore and buy the first book, All Systems Red. So admittedly, I haven't actually read any of Martha's other work. I know she writes a lot of fantasy. I'm sticking with her sci-fi series here, which as far as I know, she's only written Murderbot for science fiction. And I love Murderbot so much that's why Martha has made it to number 4 on my list. And, when the next Murderbot book comes out, it's definitely going to be pre-ordered. It's going to be moving right to the front of my list. And I know I believe she's contracted for at least book 8 and 9. So, can't wait for the next one. Coming in at number 3, we have none other than the man himself, Adrian Tchaikovsky. Tchaikovsky is modern sci-fi's most prolific author, releasing everything such as Children of Time. We have Shards of Earth, which is the first in the trilogy, as is Children of Time. Most recently, Shroud. Excellent novel, by the way. Alien Clay. The Doors of Eden. The Doors of Eden. Cage of Souls. The Dogs of War. The Expert Systems Brother, and the sequel to that. Saturation Point. So many books, I can't even name them all. Tchaikovsky is best known for his Children of Time series, which right now is a trilogy, and we'll have a new book coming out next year. The Children of Time is an excellent series. Every year we know that there's going to be at least 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 great books to read that are getting released from Adrian. I mean, at the time it takes me to upload this video, he's probably released another book. And I will say that some of his books I've read are just okay. But for the most part, you're going to get at least 1 or 2 good ones per year out of him. I mentioned Shroud. That was released last year. Fantastic novel. Or maybe it was released this year. I don't even know anymore. It's so confusing. So many books. But I did read Shroud. Really enjoyed it. Nearly a 5-star read for me. 4.5 stars. I do have a review on my channel if you want to check that out. But if you don't like one of his books, just try another one. And, you're bound to find something you enjoy. And he is consistently writing award-winning stories, and he's shown no signs of slowing down. He's got Hugo Award nominations. He's got Hugo Award wins. I mean, this guy is one of science fiction's greatest authors of today. I still have quite a few books to read in his backlist, but he made my number 3 on this list because he's going to keep coming out with good books. And there's always something to go back to if you haven't read all of his books yet, which, most people haven't because there's so many of them. I haven't mentioned his fantasy series as well. He's written like 20 fantasy books or more. So, I mean, this guy writes, like, that's what he does. He writes all the time. And not every book that he releases moves to the front of my TBR, so he's a little bit of an exception to that rule on this list. But that's only because he writes so many books. Like the Dogs of War series, he has a new book that just recently came out that I won't be reading yet because I haven't read Dogs of War. So I need to go back and start on that series. But I did read Shroud when it first came out. I will be reading the new Children of Time book when it comes out next year, as soon as it comes out. There's always something to read with Tchaikovsky. And for that reason, he's number 3 on this list. For number 2 on this list, we have a 2 for 2. And that's because number 2 on this list is actually 2 authors in one, James S.A. Corey. James S.A. Corey is the pen name of authors Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank, the writers of the Expanse series. So I love The Expanse. It's one of the best space operas ever written, with 9 books and a few short stories in between. And it is a completely finished series now. So if you're looking for a great space opera written by modern day authors, start reading The Expanse immediately, starting with Leviathan Wakes. Just because The Expanse is over doesn't mean that James S.A. Corey was finished writing. In addition to The Expanse, their most recent novel, The Mercy of Gods, is the beginning of a new science fiction series, and man, was this book amazing. This was one of the best books I read last year, and it's definitely a 5-star read. It begins with a group of scientists studying the local biology of an alien planet, when this planet is invaded by an alien empire called the Carricks. The scientists are abducted and taken to a kind of a prison planet, and they are forced to perform scientific research to make themselves useful to the Carricks. This novel is filled with alien species of all kinds that are trapped and imprisoned with these humans, who are also trying to conduct research and engineering and do other things, all in the drive to make themselves useful to the Carricks. It's a novel filled with suspense, first contact, a great character story as well. And I cannot recommend this novel enough if you haven't read it. I can't wait for the sequel to Mercy of Gods, and definitely going to be pre-ordering it as soon as it's announced. There was a follow-up novella called Live Suit that was a really excellent story as well. It's not clear if it's a sequel or a prequel to The Mercy of Gods, because the timeline isn't revealed and the characters are completely different. So it can actually be read as a standalone. And actually, I'd recommend it if you want a little taste of, what this series is about, the kind of authors that Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank are as James S.A. Corey. It's a bit of a military sci-fi with this really interesting concept of this spacesuit called the Live Suit. So, and that's a short, quick read. So check that one out as well. So when you take James S.A. Corey's fantastic track record with The Expanse, every novel was a great novel. Just one after another. There were no misses. There was all hits. It got turned into a TV series on Amazon. If you haven't seen that yet, also a great series. With all that, and then of course, The Mercy of God starting out excellent. James S.A. Corey makes the number 2 spot on my list. And then there was one. The number 1 science fiction author on my list is Alastair Reynolds. Alastair Reynolds has written so many fantastic hard science fiction space opera novels. He's best known for his Revelation Space series, which includes all the Revelation Space novels, Redemption Arc, Absolution Gap, and my personal favorite, Chasm City. And it also has the Prefect Dreyfus trilogy, which has the Prefect, Aurora Rising, and then it follows it up with Elysium Fire and the third book in the series, Machine Vendetta. Machine Vendetta was a 5-star read for me. He has one of my favorite novellas I've ever read, Diamond Dogs, in the collection Diamond Dogs Turquoise Days. What a story Diamond Dogs was. If you haven't read that, go out and read it. You don't have to have read the Revelation Space series to understand it. It's a standalone story. But man, is it creative? Is it imaginative, compelling, suspenseful? What a fantastic, fantastic story. And then we have hard science fiction novels like Pushing Ice. It's the story of this asteroid that a crew that mine comets ends up on this asteroid and gets taken to places across the galaxy. It's really fantastic. House of Suns. House of Suns, another standalone novel. Far future space opera. Great story. Great story. He has tons of fantastic short stories, some of which have been adapted into the Netflix show Love, Death, and Robots, like Zima Blue and Beyond the Aquila Rift. He has a standalone version. He has the Blue Remembered Earth trilogy. He has his Revenger series. He has a new one coming out, Halcyon Years. That's supposed to be a kind of a detective sci-fi time travel noir series. Century Reign, Terminal World. He has so many great novels. I have not read a bad book by him. Not every novel's been a 5-star read, but they're always really good, and quite a few of his books have been 5-star reads for me. Which is one of the reasons why he's my number 1. Whenever Al releases a new novel, it always moves to the top of my TBR, and I read it as soon as I can. His ideas are so creative and imaginative. He incorporates, hard science fiction in these really compelling, interesting stories, far out concepts. Some of the most unique and intriguing characters I have ever read in any novel. He is just such a fantastic author, and I hope he keeps writing for as long as he can, because I'm going to keep reading his books. Because of his incredible creativity and far out ideas and all of the excellent stories he's written, he's made it to #1 on my list. What a privilege it is to be able to read a novel by Alastair Reynolds. That's it for my top 5 currently active science fiction authors. Thank you for tuning in to watch today's video, and please let me know in the comments if you disagree with any of my choices, and let me know who are your favorite authors writing today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching the video. See you next time.